Hey guys, it's late night. I just finished my pieces and I was thinking about something. And this is something that you'll hear me say in a lot of these videos where I just talk about something that I think could be helpful to anybody who wants to hear it. And this is just the simplest thing, but we forget to do it. I forget to do it. I think about it all the time, and then I do it, and then I forget to do it. And I forget, and then I remember. And all the time I was forgetting would have been so much better if I had it remembered. And we tend to move on autopilot. And all of us are different. Some of us are very positive, motivated, hardworking people who focus and just go at it. And some of us are more hesitant and afraid because of how our lives twisted and turned and what transpired and what we struggled with or whatever. And some of us, tentatively do things. Some of us plod. We go carefully and slowly. And there's a whole wide range of different ways we do things, but most of us would like to improve how we do things. I think very few people are on the cutting edge where they're just every moment they feel like they're pushing themselves as hard as they can to get better and better and kill it. So we want to do things better, but a lot of times we don't think about doing them better as we're doing them. And that makes things boring. And we have to turn on music and turn on something else. Maybe you'll turn on one of my videos and that will keep you from being bored. And so you won't have to do this. But it would be better for you, although it's great to put on my videos in the background while you're doing stuff, it would be great for you to improve what you're doing to the point where you're not bored doing it. And then you don't have to have background noise. You don't have to listen to music. And then you don't have to feel tired at the end or feel like, oh, I didn't have time to get everything done I wanted to. And that's, if you're actively trying to do things faster and better every second that you're doing them, you're going to get faster and better, and it's going to become a habit, and you're going to not just save more time, but every time you do that task, whether it's washing dishes or folding laundry or whatever, every time you do it, instead of it becoming a routine and autopilot and just something you always do the same speed, so it always takes up the same amount of time, so you only have a limited amount of time in your life, if you do it faster every time and get better at it every time, then your autopilot even becomes faster, and then you have more time for other things in your life, and it won't stress you out as much when you have to do it, so you won't procrastinate, you won't put it off. I'm so fast at laundry, I'm so fast at dishes, I kill it, that, when it's time to do it, no problem. In fact, I like the fact that I'm so good at this. I'll knock out those dishes so quick. People will be shocked. They'll be like, how'd you do that so fast? My family members will be like, what is that? The person visiting will be like, how'd you get that done so quick? So there's all the benefit in the world to actively doing things rather than passively. For me, it comes down to a single word. One single word. Just saying in my head over and over again the adjective of how I want to do, or the adverb or what of how I want to do things faster. Like, let's say, all I want to do is faster. If I want to just keep going faster, if I want to just keep pushing myself every second, just actively use all my brain power and muscle power to go a little bit faster and a little bit faster and a little bit faster. Not so fast that I lose balance and slip and fall over and make a mistake and stab something with a knife that I'm trying to cut with, but just incrementally faster enough that it's safe and I'm focusing, but I'm doing it better, slowly better, slowly better. And all I have to do is say the word faster in my brain, but I have to say it over and over and over and not stop saying it. Because every time I say it, I remind myself and I give myself a little push. And then our brains are so smart that we start thinking of creative ways to do things faster, faster, faster. It's like there's a coach giving us little nudges, and it's just the right amount because we're the coach. So it's not like a coach who misunderstands how we function. So it's like if you keep saying faster, faster, then you'll think, oh, I can shortcut this by putting this over here, and I have two hands. This hand usually just waits for the dish to be handed to it. I can take this hand and do this while this does this, and I definitely have been wasting too much time doing this That's not a big deal. I can do it half as much. I don't need to dry every dish. I don't need to, whatever it is, you start finding shortcuts and you start finding ways where you've been a little lazy. You've just been letting yourself do this because you don't feel like doing it faster, because the default position of all of us is to do things easier with less pain. And initially doing things faster takes a little bit more muscle power, and that's a little bit painful or a little bit uncomfortable. And so we don't want to do it unless there's something pushing us. So it's faster, faster, faster. If you just say the word faster for an hour as you're doing a task, you will shock yourself at how much better, quicker, and more enjoyably you'll do the task. Okay, so it doesn't have, that works for me. What works for you? Sometimes if you're intimidated, let's say you go through life afraid of everybody. Like every time you're afraid of encounters, you're afraid of strangers, you're afraid people are going to take advantage of you, you're afraid that people are going to think you're stupid. Say, I'm a monster. I'm a killer. I'm a monster. I'm the biggest, toughest thing around. And you know you don't believe that, but you also know that people can change. And so you know if you keep telling yourself you're going to act a tiny bit more that way every second. So you say that as you're doing something. And you find you start standing up a little straighter, and you start squaring your shoulders back, and you start moving a little more confidently. And as you're doing that, you're you got to put these headphones away. I keep wanting to gesture in the camera, and I'm like, I'm gonna be looking like I'm whipping the camera with the headphones, with the earbuds. What's it called? What was I saying? Like as you say, I'm tough. I'm a tough guy. I'm a tough chick. I'm not somebody to mess with. Do you believe that people can change? Do you believe that you can change? Because if you don't, then what are you doing listening to this video? Because there's no point. Like, everything on earth says that people do change all the time and can change. And in fact, if you're not actively trying to be a better person every day, you might be sliding into being a worse person. That's a funny thing how things work. We're usually not static. We're becoming better or worse. That's how I see it. And that's not to scare you. Oh, I'm going to get worse and worse and worse. But if you think about it, if you're always afraid of people and you do nothing about it, then you're going to act more paranoid and more paranoid. And sure enough, people who do have malicious intent or are just bored and aren't sensitive are going to see you as an easy target. Or at the very least, they're going to laugh at how silly they think you're acting or the energy you're portraying. So, and that's going to make you feel more intimidated, and that's going to make you more of a recluse, and then you're going to get even worse at being around people, and it spirals downward. So are you building upward, or are you, which direction are you going? So, again, not to scare you, that if you sit on the couch and have some Doritos and watch your favorite show, that you're going to spiral downward. It's what do you want? What do you want to do? What do you want to improve? And if you want more time in your life and you want to get better and you want to be more confident, then pick a word. Just pick a word and say it in your brain. But you got to practice saying it over and over with each breath. And keep saying it and keep saying it. And don't stop saying it after 5 minutes. So how long can you go until you forget? Until the phone rings, someone distracts you, the TV, the dog, something happens and you forget to keep saying it, and then the spell is broken, and then you go back to your normal life of autopilot. But those 5 minutes that you were doing it, you'll remember that. If you made a significant impact in doing things differently, you will remember for days. Those 5 minutes were the most memorable point of my whole day. I did that task totally differently than I used to. So next time you'll remember and you'll try it again. Maybe you'll make it to 10 minutes and maybe 15. But it is powerful. It is transformative. It's life-changing. And I'm telling you this, as I choose to do this too. And if you do it, you might take what I'm saying and run with it and do it longer and more prominently than I've done it. And you will your life trajectory will go like this. It'll start getting a higher and higher slant as you move upward in positivity. And the cool thing about that is a little bit of positivity sparks more positivity, and that can spiral upward. In the same way that, like, not choosing to work on what you want to work on has a negative effect that tends to go down, down, down. When you start working on what you want to work on, sure, there's struggles and difficulties in the beginning, but like each little notch you get up, you start to have more confidence, and then you take on even a bigger notch. So you're not just going like this, you start to get better faster. And that's where life gets super exciting. And it can be anything. It can be just getting out of bed. It can be exciting. If getting out of bed is a hard thing for you, maybe it's always been a hard thing, or maybe you have medical issues. Maybe people don't understand how much harder it is for you to do normal things that everybody takes for granted. That doesn't matter. You know how hard it is for you. And you know if you make this much progress, you will feel better. And you will feel more hopeful. Like, maybe I can do this, or maybe this disease is not going to get the best of me, or this condition, or whatever. You broke a leg, or you're going through a really hard time. You had something very traumatic happen. Like, little tiny things, like saying a word that you don't quite yet believe, but you want to believe over and over in your head. Try it. And we'll compare notes. And let me know.